Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Barquillos from CZT Maria Tovar. I've been looking at this one for a while, and I was also looking for something that was on the simple side to do, and I'm like, oh yes, 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 yes. Been like I said, been wanting to try this, so we're gonna try it. I think there's a similar tangle to this that's a Zentangle original tangle. I don't know. I didn't go take a look. I will at some point, and we'll add that to the collection here. All right, I'm going to do a 9 square because there's a bit of a technical. See, hopefully I can get. Usually it's much easier to do, divide in half and then in half again. I'm working on eyeballing thirds though, and it's turning out all right. Good. Okay, because there's um, something that Maria has in the step outs, basically saying lift your pen up as little as possible. And in the step out, I tried to copy what Maria has, and hopefully you can see it. But explaining it here will hopefully have it make sense. I just did the basic tangle. Make sure to take a look at hers. It's in the description section. Both of ours will be. Hers I always list it as for more inspiration because that's exactly why I put it there. All right, so the initial stroke of this, and what we're going to do is we'll end up going diagonal, but I'm going to start here in this. Let me move it in here. Okay, very good. I could just move my camera, but you know, why do that when I can slide off of the. We joke on our tangle time. Both Mom and I both will accidentally. You just get in the zone and you start pulling it closer to you, or just in a different direction, and it's really funny. It's like I need to go back to putting my. I used to have like a with a pencil or something I would mark, but that's no fun either. All right, so this is and just watch because it's like a giant. We could think of it as an enormous, continuous flat S shape. That's I'm gonna go with that. So I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna trace this line here, and then we're gonna curve around, and then we're gonna. It's like once you hit uh, um, a side of the box, then you turn around and come back, and you want to make this really thin. And when you take a look at her step out, it is this is a food related one, so you just have to read and see it. And oh my goodness, this one's gonna land out just right. Okay, so when you get to the end here, and you're to this grid line, you're gonna trace over it and then come down to the next one, and then just continue. Now, of course, at some point you have to adjust your hand, but I get the idea, of having it be continuous. And wow, this is going to be amazing. See, like I just had to adjust for my hand, but you get the idea. It's kind of a big, continuous thought. And then, once you have the end, you have the end, and that's it. And then, so these ones on the end, these are just going to be, by themselves. But if it was a bigger grid, you get the idea. And again, it all depends on how your grid's laid out and whatnot. And let's just turn this and do it this way. And since we're tracing over the bar line, or at least close, starting out, that's why I'm doing it, so that way it's consistent. It's similar to if you've done the Tangle and Zeppel. That's one of the things that we do in that one, where we trace over the whatever lines are there, because that one you can do it in it's kind of more like a triangular grid, or or kind of a wonky grid, but we trace over the lines because it creates a neat effect versus just, you know, rounding off the corners type of thing. All right, so once you have this done in a grid, and by the way, that kind of looks cool too, right? Then it's rinse and repeat, but we're going to go the opposite, or it's not opposite direction, perpendicular direction. Opposite direction would end up being the same in this, I think, right? Okay, I think you know what I mean. All right, so yeah, so we're going left to right, then we're going to go, up and down on this. Whichever way you start, like this. So we're just going opposite. Is opposite the right word? Put it in the comments. Let me know. It's been a long day, and I'm happy to be tangling. Oh, and actually, this one, so I can decide. Oh, I'm just going to come up to this one and continue. I didn't do that earlier. Oh, and let's go slow down so we can try to hit those lines. Going slow helps. Well, this one, sometimes you just end up there, and that's okay. And so actually, I'm going to shift it, just switching so that way it's easier for you to see. Yes, the pen. But this is a nice one that you can just kind of lose yourself in because you don't have to think about anything except back and forth. Although it is kind of like it's pen pacing. And I'm going to take artistic license and say if you end up in the wrong direction for it to, it's like here is perfect. Oh, I can continue and I can go on here if this was a blank one. But like this one, I ended up coming down here. Just, it's okay. And then just start a new one. But the idea, and I like the concept of just a continuous line back and forth, maybe thinking a rocking motion because that would be soothing. Um, and keeping them kind of tight. It is just a nice tangle, and it could be a nice background, or even a texture, really. So the shading, as I was looking at her samples, um, of course, there's lots of ways you could do it. You could, just put graphite over the grid and leave it at that. But I was looking at hers and trying to figure out, because it didn't seem necessarily to have a rhyme or reason, but at the same time it did. And so I'm going to leave this with you. So you could, on the ends where we have the little the curve lines, and I'm just going to pick one. So like here I'm putting it on the top, and I'm not going to put it on the bottom. You could do both if you wanted to, but it kind of turned out neat. And you could do that on all of them if you wanted to. So you could do it all the same, or you could change it up and put some on a different. I'm going to just do them all the same. So all the ones that are going up, I put it on the top. Oh, and then I can turn the tile and do the same thing. Because it looked like she only had it on a couple, and it looks really, really neat. So now with the tortilla knife, you just remember as long as you can see, where did I put this, and then just bring that graphite down a little bit with a little circular motion, and you can always go back and add more. Always remembering that. All right, then turn it, and actually it's a little easier if you are doing it on, like I did on the top. Then I'm not having to search for where is that graphite. Oop, right here. Got it all. Look at how neat that looks. It's like uneven. It gives it a lot more character than no, take that back. Different character. Because if I put it here, oh, we do that a lot, right? Where we, and then this would be curved. It will look neat though, because then it will look more like a weave. But this is just kind of a little extra interesting. And I'm going to go a little bit darker just to bring it out a little bit more. And again, this is what I like to, I seem to have like a certain amount of graphite I put on at the beginning. And then, like I said, you can always go darker. And when you go back and do it a little bit darker, you don't necessarily have to bring it out as far because you've already created a gradient. Sometimes I want to just keep the darkest part. Oh, look at how neat that looks. I want to keep the darkest part at this point. I don't need to, like I said, I don't need to bring it out. That's what I'm trying to say. You just bring it out part ways because you've already built the gradient. Did I get them all? And I do talk to a lot of people that are hesitant on the shading or afraid to go too dark. And this is one way you can do it. Go light, and then, take a look. And if you need to add a little extra, then add a little extra. And you just do it in little stages, like baby steps. And see how neat that looks now. Having the graphite. Oh, this is just my. Oh no, I didn't. It's just my light. Not showing. No, I needed to blend that a little bit better. I was just seeing that line. There we go. But yeah. How neat. How neat. So I'm glad I did it that way. It just creates, like I said, it just creates a different effect. And it's neat. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, would love to have a thumbs up or click like. And feel free to share it. And if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, and I should preface it with, if you like it enough to see more, I would appreciate if you think about subscribing to the channel. In the description section, I mentioned that already for the step outs. Below that, ways to connect with me. So if you enjoy my style, just so you know, I do online classes almost twice a week. Just depends on the week. I have a lot that are free. I do have some that are paid, so that way I can keep the lights on and keep myself in pens and pencils and tortillons and paper and everything. And afford the time too, I suppose. That's probably most important. But anyway, so you can check that out on my website. And if you have questions, of course, there's ways to connect with me. We also have a wonderful Facebook community. So if you happen to be on Facebook, the link is there in the description section. Would love to have you join. I do have a couple of required questions, and I'm not afraid to decline people for joining if they don't bother to answer the questions. Sometimes I think maybe they're just checking out to see what they can see, and then So anyway, I do ask a couple questions just because I want to ensure a great tone for the group, and would love to have you join us. It's a fun, supportive group. We have a lot of great people on there. So with that, thanks so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.